Alright, and good evening, and welcome to round 2, the AK Racing Supercar Championship. Well, might as well just get stuck straight into it, because qualifying is underway. We've left it very late to get everything ready, but we're out there now, and here at the Albert Park circuit, and Scott Cortum leads the field away. The short 10-minute qualifying session. Looks like one of the Erebus cars in the background there. But yeah, very, very busy out there. Obviously, got about 30 or so cars in the server. And even though it is a big Grand Prix circuit, obviously 5.3 kilometers long, it's still going to be quite busy out there. And being one of the first ones out on the track, as the two Team Castrol plus fitness cars are, vital for them to get a good early lap in, because 10 minutes isn't a very long time to set a lap time around here. With the quickest time in practice, or in the practice session just before, being a very quick, it has to be set around this circuit in a supercar, 1 minute 51, so I believe it's a 51.8. Going off the top of my head, and that was by this man on screen, so he's the man to look out for at the moment. And so this is the first qualifying session. There will be two qualifying sessions this evening. We'll go over in a little bit more depth later on the format for tonight. But there is 4 races with 2 qualifying sessions. Approaching the penultimate corner, which is very difficult to get wrong regardless of what car you're driving, whether it be a supercar, a Formula 1 car, GT car. Corner's navigated it nicely. You don't want to stuff up the last corner, particularly as you leave the pits on a hot lap, but we'll jump on board the Nissan and see how he attacks this Albert Park Grand Prix circuit. Using a lot of curve at turn 1, very wide exit coming into turn 2. A lot of flow to this circuit, and personally, just to drive, one of my favourites. I reckon about 110, 120 by the looks of it. Hits the apex at turn 2. A little bit of lag, I do apologise with the CPU occupancy. And so hopefully that sorts itself out in a moment. Through the tricky turn 5 in a Formula 1 car, it's flat. In a supercar, it is not. I reckon just under, or just after the 100 metre board. A little bit wide exit of turn 6. And now the right hand sweeper. Right and left, and now down the lakeside drive. Had to correct a little bit of a slide there on the exit. Hasn't been too bad of a lap so far though. Very easy to pick up a track cut at these two, 11 and 12. Very, very wide on the exit for Cortum. Now approaching turn 13, lap traffic on Timken cars getting out of the way. That up quite nicely. One of my favourite corners on the track. That one right there. He's got that one right. Now the slowest corner on the circuit. Couldn't tell if he's struggling to get that in or if it's just a lag. He's got through it. Now the final corner and the run to the line. And across the line, 52.6. So the first lap time, the first qualifying session. Scott Cortum. And looking quite handy out there. Just have a look down the pit straight as drivers complete their lap times, and just to show you just how busy the circuit is at the moment. As you can see, a massive gaggle of cars on the Timken cars, one of the Mustangs. A couple of the Mustangs, a little bit of contact into turn 1 there. One of the WAU cars, super cheap. But Cortum leading the field at the moment. And as we've said, comfortably so. Unfortunately, still that CPU just playing up here. Did have some updates which were meant to help with the lag situation, but unfortunately, just the sheer number of cars still causing issues. So, Matt Cotter, I do believe he's out of town and is racing on a dodgy old setup, but he's been able to race. He's racing on a laptop and looked like just a crappy old plastic chair. Penrite Erebus Racing are leading the team championship at the moment, and that'll be due to Andy O'Hara, obviously claiming a dominant victory at Adelaide 2 weeks ago. O'Hara currently sitting in P5 as we see Reid now jump up to P2, but still 1.1 seconds off the pace. Munro now also up into 4th place, so the Nissan's absolutely dominating at the moment. Cordham coming up to the Scandia WAU cars. Getting out of his way. So you see Ches now move up to 11th place down the field, and he's got an angry little battle pack that he's going to have to contend with on the start of his next lap. Just looking around as Dominiak moves up now into the top 10. Now these being obviously tonight the format with there being 4 races, 2 qualifying sessions. The races are quite short, 10 laps for I think the first 2 first 2 races. Second race being I think I don't know if it's complete reverse grid, but there certainly is reverse grid for each of the second races or second set of races this evening. So ideally, you don't really want to be so much in the midfield or finish in the midfield, because you'll be stuck there with the fast guys behind you, and you have to deal with a couple of the slower guys just in front of you as well. But at the same time, if you are one of the faster guys, it will throw up a bit of a curveball as you deal with a lot of the slower cars. It is a big field, and not many laps. Back right on board Cortum for another lap here. A long run now to turn 3. Doesn't use all the road, wants to set himself up nicely for turn 4. Don't want to run too wide there and run on that long sausage curve. Uses all the road on the left hand side to carry as much speed through here through turn 5 as he can, and he's done that very, very nicely. Now the run to 6. Uses a bit of curve, runs a bit, is back on the grass on the exit. That might be a cut. We'll see. See if he backs out of it. A little bit of traffic ahead. Looks like one of the super cheap Mustangs and one of the Matt Stone ZB Commodores in front. Down one gear. Be quick on the left, right, flip flop. Bit of a slide on the exit. He's able to save it. It will cost him a little bit of time, obviously, going all the way down here, and he's picked up a track cut and he's slowing down. And with 52 seconds left, if he goes back to the pits, that will be his last lap, but he is considerable distance in front of everybody else at the moment. O'Hara in the pit, so he's not going to best himself. Either is Eaton, Ellis, French, Keys and Payne, all those guys in the pits. It's pointless leaving the pits now, Ellis, because there's 33 seconds left and you are not going to finish an out lap in time. But Reid now in P2, he is on a lap. And, well, was on a lap, is going back to the pits, as is Macca. Hobson jumps up to P9. Delaney jumps up into P5. And he did cross the line with time remaining, so he's got another lap. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him. That is the Timken car that left the pits. As you can see, a little bit of slide under braking for Delaney into turn 3. Didn't look like it cost him too much time. Thornton up into P5. And as you can see, Delaney just not quite as committed. They're not using as much road as what Cortum did in to turn 5 there. And yeah, just couldn't quite get the nose out. Broke himself a little bit there at turn 6. And that's his lap done and dusted. Now, Thornton, Delaney are done. Lynn is on a lap, so we'll follow him out. Or around, I should say, for the remainder of his lap. Currently sitting... Well, on the left-hand side, it says he's in 11th, but on the bottom right there, it says he's in 12th. He hasn't had an ideal run. The penultimate corner there. Dominiak moves up into 13th place. And across the line goes Lynn. He's unable to improve. Matt Cotter, he's finished his lap. Hall's done. Ellis is still out on the track. And we've got Runch has just crossed the line in the Red Bull Holden racing car. And that's moved him up into 15th right at the death. So that is qualifying done and dusted. With Scott Cortum taking a dominant pole position. 1.1 seconds clear of the rest of the field with Reed. 1.1 seconds behind. And then Macca in 3rd, Munro 4th, Thornton in 5th, Delaney in 6th place, Huon in 7th, O'Hara 8th, Eaton 9th, and then Hobson rounding out the top 10. Alright, well, while we wait for obviously the countdown to end, we'll just go over obviously the Albert Park circuit. As you can see on your screen, 5.303 kilometres, 16 turns. Event type for this weekend, the International Super Sprint. Only one of these this season here, which will be obviously here at the Albert Park Grand Prix circuit. 2 10-lap races, 2 13-lap races, with the second race of each being a reverse grid race. And the first race's grid for each of them being set by qualifying sessions. Alright, well, flip over the page and we'll check out the driver standings for the first time this season. Obviously, O'Hara taking the win in round 1, and that sees him sit atop of the points standings on 150 points. Second place, Kurt Stenberg on 138, Reed on 129, Huon on 120, Cortum on 111, so he'll be looking to pick up a fair amount of points this evening. Then we've got Macca on 102, Cotter on 96, Hall on 90, Courtier on 84, and Eaton rounding out the top 10 on 78. Across the page, we've got Greg Brock on 72 points, James Delaney on 68, Duro on 64, and then behind Duro, we've got Ches on 60, Dominiak on 57, Crab on 54, Pickford on 51, Phillips on 48, and Lauder and on 45, with Lucas rounding out the top 20 on 42 points. Now, we'll flick over to the team points because we're only going to just keep up with the top 20 in the Drivers' Championship. So if you're outside those standings, you're going to have to do a better job to get yourself in the top 20. But as you can see, Penrite Erebus Racing, top of the team standings, followed by Team Castrol Plus Fitness, 225, place 213. Boost Mobile Motorsport on 186. 162 for Walkinshaw Andretti United Machinery House on 139. Shell V-Power GGR Team Penske on 138, equal with OS Erebus. Techno Autosport on 135. Tickford on 110. And Bottolo Racing on 96 points. And obviously, just to go over the calendar once again, as you can see, we've been through Adelaide. Now it's Albert Park this weekend. And International Super Sprint 2 weeks' time. We are at Simmons Plains, which will be very interesting. See, circuit with so many cars out there in the field. And then, sorry, I'm just a little distracted here. Then we have Pukekohe, followed by Barbagallo Raceway, Hidden Valley, and Eastern Creek, all being super sprint events. And then we have the Bend for the first of the Endurance Cup events on April 12th. The Bathurst 1000, yes, that's right, the Bathurst 1000. It will be a 1,000 kilometre event, 161 laps at the mountain on April 26th with driver changes, hence the Co-Driver Endurance Cup event, followed on May 10th at Gold Coast with another Endurance Cup event, Sandown, rounding out the Endurance Cup on May 24th, and then Newcastle will be the final round of the season. We start the season with a Super Sprint event, or Super Street event, I should say, and we'll end it as well at Newcastle with a Super Street event. Alright, got about 4 minutes, oh sorry, not 4 minutes, got about 40 seconds for the countdown. Yes, for the countdown to run out. So we're just going to be waiting here just for a little moment, or for a few moments or so, and then we'll get the race underway. All drivers are out there on the grid. Got 10 seconds remaining, and we're just about ready for a start here at Albert Park. And away we go. Looks like a slow starter down the back there. Slow start for Cortum. And it looks like he's going to lose out into turn one there. Got a number of cars sort of warping out over the place. And we've got the two Castrol cars running into each other, two Nissans. And that's dropped Cortum down a few spots. So Reed now into the lead. Reed, Macca, Monroe, O'Hara. And field going around slowly, so it looks like there may be... Yeah, it looks like there is a safety car. So, must have been an incident further down the field that unfortunately we couldn't quite pick up. But not an ideal start for Scott Cortum, who took pole by a massive margin, didn't get the greatest of starts, and he finds himself obviously down quite a number of spots. The two Nissans, two Castrol Nissans of obviously Macca and himself, see a little bit of contact there into turn one, and that dropped Cortum behind Munro in the Rabble Club Nissan Ultima. So it seems to be a very Nissan orientated circuit, this one. Either that or all the drivers just seem to, the Nissan drivers seem to like this circuit, because and they're all just sitting there at the front of the field. Just going to be playing around with some settings here, so I do apologise for being up on your screen. But yeah, safety car out the field, out, I should say, waiting for the rest of the field. As you can see on your screen there, Reed got the jump at the start and he's in the lead, but he's got some very fast Nissans behind him. And it will be interesting, obviously very early in the season, we're not going to see team orders, but Cortum will be hoping that his fellow Nissan drivers sort of get out of his way and help him get after Mr. Reed, because he's got a lot of pace, does Cortum, and you don't want to get stuck behind other cars out there, and it is only a 10-lap first race here. So obviously just to run through what you can see on your screen. Top 24, Reed, Macca, Munro, Cortum, O'Hara up one spot into 5th. Hyun into 6th place. And then Delaney, Cotter, Duro, Lynn, Thornton, Eaton, Courtier, Dominiak, Brock, Runch, Schultz, Hobson has dropped down quite a number of spots off the start. Ellis, Ball, Crab, Lauder, Keys and Starrett rounding out the 24 drivers on your screen. As you can see, safety car now. And so just looking at the progress, and I don't know if that's accurate, but a number of drivers up a lot of spots there. That doesn't look quite right because O'Hara was in the top 6 there in qualifying. So it looks like that bit of the app there isn't quite accurate. But the safety car out on the circuit at the moment. If I had to hazard a guess, it'll probably only be out for a lap. There is no pit stops required in this one. As you can see, just as you look from turn 3 down to turn 2, slight curve down the road. Got the swimming centre off to the right hand side of the circuit. Just how big this field is. Got Warwick and Stenberg all the way down the field there, 24th and 25th. See Stenny was second in Adelaide. So not ideal for the OS Erebus Racing drivers down there in 24th and 25th place. Let's see all the drivers out there vigorously trying to keep get temperature into their tyres, because they're only racing for 2-3 corners there before the safety car was called. And once again, just look at all these cars out there on the circuit at the moment. Massive field. And just think, these guys at the front, whoever wins this race is going to have to start at the back of this field. So I reckon race 2 of each of the set of races, which is going to be reverse grid, I think there's going to be a little bit of carnage and a little bit of biff as people try and make their way through the field, and obviously the differences in speed between the fast guys at the front end, pointing into the field, and the guys at the back. It's the safety car driver locking up there at the penultimate corner, so he's pushing hard out there. He wishes he was racing. It's just about to go green. And Reed goes in the middle part of the final corner. Away we go. Racing once again. This time a rolling start. Looks like Macca's got a decent start. He's having a look up the inside of Reed. Not quite close enough to make a move though. And he will have to wait. And that looks like Courter making a move for third place. He's got the job done. It looks like O'Hara's sort of having a little look at Munro in front of him as well. So just have a look back, and looks like Hyun having a look as well back there. A number of drivers trying to make a move. And as we're looking, as the field streaming past, O'Hara has managed to get himself up into 4th place. Not an ideal qualifying session for him, but up into 4th place now. So he's had a fairly handy start so far. But next man up the road, caught him. It's very, very quick. And from what we've seen in practice, I don't think O'Hara quite has the pace, as it looks like Hyun trying to make the move on Munro. Both drivers giving each other space. Hyun gets it done a little bit wide on the grass, and that's Cotter wide on the grass and having a little adventure himself. And that's going to cost him a lot of positions. So that's at least 4 or 5 spots there for Cotter. And finds himself down in 13th as Brock has a look up the inside of him at 11 and 12 there. And Cotter wide once again, so costly little error. I don't know if there was any contact which forced him to have that little moment, but not ideal. This would be Commodore driver. Up at the front of the field though, the 2, Nissan's battling it out. I think we just caught the end of Macca's daughter having a look at Reed there. There was half a second between them. Now there's 0.9 of a second as they approach the start finish line. We caught him very, very quick, but he has to be, because O'Hara is sticking right with him at the moment. Oh, and it looks like we've got a massive accident out the back there. Let's just have a look. Thought I saw a car sideways off the inside of the circuit there. And indeed we did. Looks like it's one of the cool drive cars. Got Duro and Delaney. So battling it out there. 8th and 9th places. We've got Thornton and Eaton for company. So a few Mustangs in a row. And then we've got Courtier leading an angry pack of ZB Commodores. So only 6 laps to go, don't forget. Oh, a little bit of contact between Courtier and Eaton. And then Courtier, massive incident there. He copped a hit from behind, and he's really got nowhere to go. He can't. If he moves forward, he might run into someone. So eventually, he does move forward. He kept his car right in the middle of the road. He couldn't really do anything. Thankfully, no one T-boning him there. It could have been an even bigger incident. But disaster for Courtier, down to 31st spot as Brock side by side with Eaton, and Eaton wide on the exit of turn 12, and Brock will take that position. So Brock now up into 11th place. Further up the road, got Lynn Delaney battling it out, and Delaney around the outside. That is a very, very good manoeuvre. But now has to hold on into the penultimate corner. He's got the job done, as it looks like. I think that was Duro running no, it's actually Thornton running a little bit wide in the background there. The fastest lap of the race, a 53 for Macca. Looks like a 53 for Huon as well. Huon's in a little bit of space, and he might make that a nice little 4 or 5 car battle pack at the front. Reed currently still in the lead. He's got half a second over Macca, who's got about 6-7 tenths over his teammate, which, don't forget, they did make contact into turn 1. Which dropped caution down a couple spots. So it's all happening. It's like Hobson's dropped well down the field. Yeah, he's had a little adventure down there at turn 1. Disaster for the Matt Stone Racing driver. Extending now up into 16th place. Second place man in the championship, or he will be, or he was. He won't be after this one. And pardon me, just a reminder, it is full. Every race here is worth the full 150 points for a race win. So even though it's very early in the season, you can't really, well, you don't want to say that one round is more important, or anything like that. This round is vitally important for the championship. You're going to want to pick up as many points as possible here, because you've got 4 opportunities at 150 points. If you have a bad round and your championship rival even has just a decent round, you're in a lot of trouble, because you're not going to get those points back. And looks like drivers are slowing down up at the front there. We may have a safety car down the field. Yeah, it looks like we've got a safety car. Perhaps for that incident. Well, I wouldn't say it happened last lap, so perhaps something's happened further down the field. As it looks like Warwick's losing a couple positions down there, so he's dropped down to 22nd. And looks like Ellison Hall, they're still battling it out. Even though it looks like there is a safety car. But once again, safety car is out. We're only halfway through this 10-lap race. So if I had to hazard a guess, it'll be a short safety car, another sort of one lap safety car in at the end of this one. So once again, the field will bunch up. I'm not sure if Reed would have appreciated that there's another safety car. Obviously, it gives him a chance just to sort of rest up and refocus going to the final sort of third half of this race. At the same time, it gives Macca and Cordham a chance to close up just a little bit, even though there wasn't really too much between them anyway. It may sort of, the two drivers may sort of talk to each other and just let Macca might be allowed to race Reed for a little bit and Cordham will just hold on, or perhaps Macca is just going to say stuff that, but just going to race all the way. So who knows what's going to happen there? But remains to be seen if it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing for Reed, this second safety car. obviously with the two Nissans, they've already made contact already, and they are battling hard. They do have to be wary. Obviously, a championship leader, Andrew O'Hara, there in 4th place. He's very quick, and he could gain, obviously, a couple positions if those two Nissans in front of him make a little bit of contact. But he's going to have to worry about who behind him, because he was quite quick just before the safety car was called, just after he got past Munro for P5. So just a run through the field. Reed, Macca, Cortum, the top 3. O'Hara 4th, Hilton 5th, Munro 6th, Delaney 7th, Lynn 8th, Duro 9th, Thornton 10th, Brock in 11th, Eaton 12th, Dominiak in 13th, Runch 14th, Schulz 15th, Stenny, Gerstenberg in 16th, Lauder in 17th, Ellis 18th, Hall in 19th, Cotter in 20th. Obviously he was running a bit higher up in the field, but got caught up in an incident just before this, or earlier on Lakeside Drive there. And then down the field, Warwick, Parker, Courtier, followed by Ches, Crab, Keys, Starrett, Payne, Ball, and we've got the safety car out for another lap, so we'll actually jump back down through the field and go through it all again. But because unfortunately the app doesn't show me all the positions, because there's just so many cars in the field, I have to do it manually down here. A Ball in 30th place. Then we have Bradshaw 31st, Ross in 32nd. Hobson was up higher in the field, but we did see sideways there in between turn 1 and 2 there, so he's down in 33rd. French at the tail end of the field. Now, I did see him in the pit lane just a lap earlier, so perhaps he was involved in that incident which caused the safety car. We didn't see it, but he did. Oh, sorry, not French, it was Keane that entered the pit lane. My mistake. And then we have Aaron Thomas in 36th place, and Gardison a lap down in 37th, with Scrub driving the safety car. So lap 7 of 10. I reckon we're in for an action-packed final 3 laps here once the safety car pulls in. Cortum, fastest man in the field, stuck behind his teammate, couldn't quite get by him beforehand, but they are starting to battle, but they do have to watch O'Hara behind, and Ewan as well, who is no slouch. They're probably just a little bit quicker, it seems, than Munro, who's going to have to be wary of Delaney there in 7th, Lynn in 8th, Duro 9th, Thornton in 10th. So let's just watch how the safety car is going along out there. Not pushing all that hard, so Scrub not really having a crack out there, which is disappointing because it's certainly at Adelaide, he was out there pushing, locking up, getting it sideways, and here he's just driving nice and conservative, so a bit disappointing, but obviously I don't think the officials would like it too much if the safety car driver ended up binning it. So once again, Reed backing up the field, so we're about to go green here into the second safety car period. Now he went midway through the final corner last time. Will he try something different this time? Looks like he's gone a little bit later this time, and still Macca's gone with him. Macca got a decent start last time, and Macca this time a little bit closer than last time, forcing Reed to go a little bit defensive. And it looks like Cortum going a little bit defensive from O'Hara in the background as well. So watch the field stream through turns 1 and 2. Macca once again having a look up the inside. This time I think a little bit more defensive. He's got Cortum right behind him. And, too wide there. Looks like Munro and Delaney sort of battling out for 6th place. I thought Delaney's actually going to just clip the back of Munro into turn 5 there. Munro running wide at the exit turn 5. That's going to allow Delaney to have a good run into 6. And he'll say, thank you very much, I'll take that one. And down another spot goes Munro. So he's just gone backwards as the race has gone on. He was sitting in third place for a little while, opening a couple of laps or two before Corden got by him. And it looks like Brock having a look. They're 3 wide into turn 8 here, as that's caught him off in the foreground. And Brock up 2 spots in one corner. So they're all out here having a crack. Cordham's dropped a spot. So O'Hara, the front 2 have absolutely gone. So Cordham's held up a number of cars there as he went off in his side-by-side with Delaney, and Cordham a little bit wide. Delaney will have the inside for turn 13. And there's first and second on your screen, and third place. And it looks like you're having a look up the inside of Munro as well. Around the outside, Cordham will try and hold on for 4th place. He's going to have to do it again here, but if he does hold on, he'll have the inside for the penultimate corner, and he's done it. So he's just held on. Brock in the background there having a look. Breaks very, very late, and Brock pulls it up and finds himself in 6th place. So he's had an absolutely fantastic restart. Was just outside the top 10. A couple fantastic moves, and he finds himself now in 6th place. But he's got a couple laps now to hold on for dear life. At the front, Macca still half a second behind Reed, but they've got a massive gap, 3 seconds over O'Hara. So whatever happened between O'Hara and Cordham, obviously Cordham went off the road, and that cost everyone behind time. Cordham, though, looks like he's just eased away a little bit, as unfortunately get a little bit of lag, so you're going to get a bit of Toko drift going on here due to CPU. But yeah, it looks like second half of the last lap and the first half of this lap, since staying in front of Delaney. So he runs a little bit wide at turn 5. That probably will be a track cut too. So he stabilised that gap, and he's actually closing in once again on O'Hara in front. It's looking down the field. That's one of the Ford Mustangs from the TJR Team Penske cars. That's Ches running wide, and there's another car off as well. Very, very angry battle pack down here in the positions 20 to 30. There's Matt Cotter down there, still struggling. So not on his most ideal rig. At the front though, Reed holding on. As you can see, there's a reason why he's got the orange number on his car. Last season's champion. And he's looking to take his first win of the season and start off round 2 with a good result here. Looks like he's eased away in this final sector just a little bit. A couple tenths over Macca. Macca's been good on restarts, but hasn't quite been fast enough to really have a look for the lead. And it's like Corden just a tenth faster than O'Hara in that last lap. 4 tenths faster than Delaney behind. So look at Brock defensive with Hume right behind him, with Munro keeping a closing eye. We've got Stenny, Runch there. Then we've got Hall, Schultz, Lynn, Lauder, and the second of the Rabble cars, Ball, Warwick, Crab, French. They have Ches and Keane. It looks like Hume has made a move, and Brock's fallen down. A couple spots there. But he's now side by side through turn 5, trying to going around the outside at turn 5. That's never really going to work. He's out on the grass. He's going to lose position to Munro, and he's going to lose a position to Thornton, who's lost it under braking. Has left Brock with nowhere to go. And Duro says, well, you guys have your little incident. I'm going to take that. Well, those positions, I should say. So Duro now up into the top 10. Brock, after his fantastic restart, was outside the top 10. Now finds himself back in 10th place, and he's got a very angry Dominiak and Stenny battling behind as well. So they're going to want to move themselves up. They are on the final lap, coming out of turn 12. Macca's had a good run, but not quite close enough to make the move. Sick makes Reed go a little bit defensive, so perhaps he might try and set up a move for the penultimate corner, but he's going to need a good run here at the penultimate right-hander of the circuit, but hasn't quite committed to it. Reed will hold on unless he makes a mistake. So Reed, one corner to navigate. Reed will take race 1 here at Albert Park. So our defending champion claims his first win of the season. Macca finishes second for Nissan. O'Hara claims a very handy third. Delaney stealing fourth place from Cortum right at the end. Cortum was so fast in qualifying, and as you can see, very, very frustrated. And then we have Hyun in 6th, Munro finishing 7th, Duro 8th, Brock stealing 9th, Dominiak 10th, Stenny in 11th, Eaton 12th, Runch 13th, Thornton 14th, Hall 15th, Schulz in 16th, Lynn 17th, Lauder 18th, Crab 19th, French 20th, Keane 21st, Warwick 22nd, Payne 23rd, followed by Ball, Richards, Ellis, Bradshaw, Hobson, Ches, Parker, Courtier, Starrett, and Cotter down there in 33rd place. So a disastrous round for him. His teammate took the victory, and Keys in 34th, and Ross in 35th place, with Thomas in 36th, Guttison in 37th, and final spot. Well, thought it was going to be a little bit action-packed with a little bit of rubbing, and that certainly was the case, but it has to be said, a little bit of it, I wouldn't say unexpected, because obviously his last season's champion, but with the pace that Cortum had in qualifying and in practice, would have thought he would have almost been odds-on chance of a victory, but unfortunately for him, didn't get the most ideal start. Was beaten off the line by Reed. His teammate Macca had a go at him at the inside into turn 1, which forced him a little bit wide, and that dropped him down to, I think, 4th or 5th place. He couldn't quite recover. But Reed did all he had to do. He had to withstand the pressure from Macca all race long. Almost lost out in the safety car periods, but did a fantastic job to hold on to the lead. O'Hara, again, nice and consistent. Not the fastest driver out there, but was able to make up positions when he had to. Did it without a fuss, and then didn't make a mistake after that. So he takes a very handy 3rd place in race 1 here. Delaney, 4th place. Again, he didn't have a great qualifying session, but he was able to force his way through the field. Very opportunistic, and picking up a very solid result in the end there. And then Cortum, again, he'll be very, very frustrated, as we saw him just binning it at the end of that one. Had the pace to win the race, had the pace to get pole by over a second, but didn't get the job done when he had to. And then we had Hyun finishing in 6th place, Munro in 7th, Duro in 8th. Brock, who had has to be said, a very entertaining second half of that race after the safety car came in for the final time, was outside the top 10, found himself in 6th place, but looks like he had a couple of little adventures off the circuit that cost him a couple positions in the end, but still picking up a top 10, solid for him and for Walkinshaw and Dreddy United. Stenny was really nowhere in qualifying, was down in the 20s. Both he and Warwick were in, I believe, 23rd and 24th positions during the first safety car period, but he found himself moving up the field and into the top 10, right on the edge there, right at the end. So solid job from Kurt Stenberg to pick up 10th place in the end. Dominiak 11th, Eaton 12th, Runch in 13th, and Thornton in 14th, Hall 15th, Schulz 16th, Lynn 17th, Lauder 18th, Crab 19th, and French rounding out the top 20. So still about a minute and a half away with the countdown timer for race 2 to sort itself out. So I'll just take a short little break. I do apologise, but the stream will be still running, but we shall be back in a minute or so's time. See you then. And welcome back to round 2, race 2, about a minute away until lights are green for the reverse grid race. So just run through the reverse grid for everybody. Obviously Gutterson will start us away from pole position. Aaron Thomas third, Ross third, Keys fourth, Cotter in fifth, so he's one to look out for in this one. Obviously had a disastrous first race, but was running in that 5th or 6th, 7th position there before a couple incidents sort of marred his race and put him down the field. So he's looking in good nick for this one. Starrett in 6th, Courtier 7th, Parker 8th, Ches 9th, Hobson in 10th. And then we have Bradshaw, Ellis, Richards, Ball, Payne, Warwick, Keane, French, Crab, and Lauder rounding out the top 20. Well, we're just about to get underway. Here we are. And away we go. Looks like the 23 red car didn't get going. And one of the Timken cars out the back there, not going anywhere either. But up the front, Aaron Thomas leads the field away. So he's got a good start. He's jumped Gutterson. And then, by the sounds of it, looks like there's a few. Oh, there's a big incident. Super Cheap Car 101 there. Oh, has parked itself in the middle. There's an incident further back. That's one of the Castrol Nissions and one of the Shell V-Power cars, as you can see there. And that may be a safety car. In fact, by the sounds of the cars, I think it is. So just having a look through the field at the moment. Doesn't look like anybody that started right up the back has moved their way up, although we do see Brock there in 22nd place. Corton, the highest of those guys that finished in the top 5. He's got Munro just in front of him. Reed, Zahyun, Delaney, Duro, Schultz, O'Hara, Payne, Richards in 34th, and Macca is the Castrol Nissan that we saw involved in that incident on the exit of turn 2 there. Eaton in 36th place. Who's, well, that'll be a couple of track cuts, which I know it's a safety car lap, but that will be 2 bang on cuts there. And you don't want to pick up too many amps, especially at this track where it is easy to pick them up. Very flat curbs on cars that, well, they're designed to sort of abuse them. So safety car is out once again. Aaron Thomas currently leading the field. Teammate Cotter jumped up 2 spots, so he's going to be the one to look out for in this one. If he can clear these guys early, he can pick up some very handy points for Penrite Erebus Racing, who came into the round leading the team championship, and after his teammate winning race 1, certainly be looking the goods at the moment as well. That said though, Cotter was well down the field. Once again, because obviously there was an incident very, very early on, drivers haven't really had an opportunity to warm their tyres up because they've only been at racing speed for 2 or 3 corners. So something to look out for on the restart, at least on the first lap or 2, is drivers just not so much. Obviously, they are going to be racing each other, but they have to race and deal with low tyre pressures and low tyre temperatures, which in these cars is quite a handful to deal with. So we may see drivers just lose it on their own just because they don't have any grip and they're trying to either make a move or just try to keep a guy from behind and getting past them. And race leader though, Aaron Thomas doesn't seem too fussed about warming his sides. Everyone else behind him does. Watch the field stream through. Just to give you a scope of the size of the field. I know a lot of people may watch iRacing and think, oh yeah, 40 car fields is expected in a lot of the bigger series over there, but in terms of league racing, especially in Australia and New Zealand, to see massive 30, well even 20 plus car fields is massive. The fact that here at AK, that not only has the main field got good 40 or so cars signed up for the main series, with 35 guys, or 36, 37 guys showing up this evening, and then we've got a Super 2 grid that has 20 plus cars as well, is quite impressive. Anyway, the safety car is in. Aaron Thomas will get us underway. The second restart of race 2, and I think there's been an incident down the field because there's like a couple of drivers that lost out a couple of positions, but we'll watch down the main straight and see what's going on. Looks like Cotter up into third place already, so he's looking to make his mark on race 2 after a disastrous race 1. Not too many moves going on further down the field though. I think a few people were off put by getting caught out there by the race restart. As we see Keys and Cortier battling it out, and there's an incident there. There's Hobson around again. He's been collected by Ross in the Milwaukee car. Thankfully they're both off the racing line now, but there's still a lot of cars they're going to have to wait for. So stream by. So Hobson was in the top, might have even been in the top 5, certainly in the top 10 there, and now he's down in the 30s, so disaster for him. But up front though, Thomas leads us away. He's got a slight gap over Guttison, who's he's caught too much curb there at I think it's turn 8, turn 9, turn 10, and it's got Guttison and Cotter for company. Guttison looking very racy at the moment. Looks to get a move done. He's going to have to get a move done because he's got Cotter right behind him, and Cotter is a little bit faster than him, as we saw in qualifying. Guttison having a look very, very deep on the brakes, but Thomas holds on for now. The top 5, Thomas, Guttison, Cotter, Keys and Courtier all separated really. 1.4 seconds, that's a cigarette paper, as Cotter looks to make the move into the penultimate corner. I don't know if there's a little bit of contact before that, but looks like his car just jarred to the side a little bit. He's had a good run out of the final corner though. He's going to force Guttison to go defensive. As you see Warwick jumping down the field, so something's happened to Warwick. So he's had an incident there at the penultimate corner. He's running in the top 20 by the look of it. Now he's running down in 30th place. Back at the front though, Rusty Hall, sorry, not the front, the mid-pack, looking to make a move on ball in front of him. He's got Stenny all over the back. In fact, Stenny's also going to be one to look out for, because he did have a lot of pace by the look of it towards the end of the race 1, and he's ahead of a lot of the faster guys, so he could sneak into the top 5 as this race goes on. He tries to go around the outside of ball at turn 3, and he doesn't, so good move. Oh, but he's made contact with Rusty Hall in front of him, and he went half around, but then got collected by the other WAU car behind and straightened him out, and he's got going again. So in effect, he hasn't really lost a position out of all of that, but there may be perhaps a steward's inquiry after the race. He's got right behind him. Didn't look like Hall lost any time out of that, so it just cost Stenny. And Crab and Parker dueling it out, and Crab now moving up into 9th place. Got Keys, well, got a 3-car pack of Starrett, Keys and Ches here, all duking it out here at 11 and 12. Well, it's all going on. Starrett's had a decent exit, got a change for the lead as well, so Cotter has got himself up into 2nd place, and now he's got himself up into the lead. And with the pace he saw in qualifying compared to those around him, it'd be hard pressed to put money on anyone else at this stage. There is a long way to, I wouldn't say a long way to go, it's only 6 laps, as Guttison looks to make a move with penultimate corner. He committed early, but sort of had to half get out of it. Still a bit of contact between himself and Thomas. He's going to try and go around the outside at the final turn. You're not really going to do it there, but he hasn't lost too much time. And Courtier right behind, keeping a watching eye. Guttison with the switch back into turn 1. He's now got the inside. He's got his nose in front. He pulls it up and he's got the position. So Guttison now up into P2. He's hoping to do that a couple laps earlier to get himself into the lead and sort of hope that Thomas would hold up Cotter for a bit, but not the case. And as you can see, 2.5 seconds in a lap, and half a lap really for Cotter. Massive advantage, pace advantage over these guys. Sarah doing a good job in P5, but he's got Keys and Ches to deal with. Obviously, Ches did have a couple of issues in race 1. Down the field, we've got Monroe and Keane battling out there at turn 3. Monroe getting the job done. He's now got Lynn to chase down. All those guys that finished in the top 3. First one isn't even in the top 24 there. Got Runch falling down the field, so Runch starting off there at turn 6. Hopefully joins the track safely. And that drops him behind. Oh, there's another car there as well. A second Scandia car. That's Keane. Looks like they were involved in some kind of incident. Stenny and Hall both pushing the exit of turn 12 there, and running very wide. That will be track cuts for the both of them. And Keys has now got past Starrett. In fact, a very angry battle pack. Looks like from Courtier down. In fact, Guttison hasn't really got away either. So there's the race leader. There's Cotter, Guttison, Courtier, Thomas, and the 711 car. We've got Keys, Ches, Starrett, Bradshaw, and then Crab all out on his own. But he's got Hall and Stenny closing him down. Stenny sets the fastest lap of the race. And then we've got Lynn, Munro, and we've got Parker, Reed, race 1 winner. Currently highest placed driver of those that made the podium in race 1. So it looks like he's avoided a lot of the carnage and up to 15th, but with 4 laps remaining, it's probably only realistically maybe Munro and Lynn he may be able to get if it remains green. And there's Reed getting past Parker there, and O'Hara getting past Duro. And it looks like Macca's going to try and do the same on the Bodlow car. Bodlow Mustang. So having a look up the inside into turn 6, very close between them. Duro's going to try and hold on around the outside, running a little bit on the grass. Macca will have the inside, this right-hand sweeper. He is ahead now. And it looks like Shaw's in behind, having a look at the back of Duro as well. O'Hara has got past Parker once again, so it looks like Parker actually retook that position, but then O'Hara getting the job done that we didn't see again on camera. Guttison and Courtier side by side, and it looks like there may have been a little bit of contact that forced Guttison a little bit wide, but Courtier now up into second place, but he's locked up at the penultimate corner. That's going to allow Guttison to close right back up, and he'll have the slipstream behind them. Thomas and Keys very, very close together as well. And we've also got a lap car leaving the pit, so it's all happening. And he'll probably feed out right in front of this group as well. All these guys in the 56s and 57s. It's Stenny a 54.8, fastest lap of the race. Guttison, decent run. And a turn 2 and turn 1 there. Late dive into turn 3, but Courtier saw him coming, gave him room. He's got the inside for turn 4, and he's got the better drive, and will get that position, or hold on to that position, I should say. Well, big slide though for Guttison at turn 5. He did a good job of saving it, but that will cost him any chance really of getting a move done, least for the foreseeable future, and he's going to have to contend with Keys, who's got past Thomas now. Thomas has got Ches right behind him, and right behind Ches is another Mustang in Bradshaw in the other Bottle car. In fact, looks like those are sort of battling between those two. Starrett's actually dropped down, made a slight mistake under braking. Bit of a slide. He's got Crab all over the back of him, and Paul and Stenny are right there as well. And Stenny, have a look as we go down a Lakeside Drive. They're going to go 3 wide, are they? No, not quite, but Stenny up 2 spots, so he got past Crab as well. Looks like there's a car around. That's Hall. Made a slight mistake. He's got a little bit of a gap over Lynn, and there around goes Crab on the exit of turn 12. I don't know if there's contact, if he just ran wide, but around he goes. The other Mustang running wide there, the 23 red car. It's Crab costing him dearly. He was pretty much right near the top 10. Now he's well down the field. Stanley finds himself up into 8th, so he's got past Starrett. So Starrett's made another mistake. And Bradshaw continues to pester Ches. Well, these two, with their battling, have sort of dropped behind, or dropped further behind Thomas in 5th place. They were right with him, but those two battling, costing each other time. With a couple laps to go, Stenny is a chance of a top 5. He's got to get, obviously, 4 seconds and get past a number of cars. But looking at the pace compared to obviously those next 4 or 5 guys in front of him, he's got a lot of pace over those guys. Out front though, just have a look. That is Cotter, and there's 2nd place Courtier. Courtier's actually done a fairly decent job. He was towards the edge of the top 10 earlier on this race. Finds himself in 2nd place. Done a good job. Big slide though for Keys. He's managed to get himself past Guttison there, so Guttison just falling away. Keys moving his way through the field. Guttison having a look up the inside. He made that decision to make a move very late, but was able to pull up and not run into the back end of the Team 18 driver. And with those guys battling, Thomas is closing, as is Ches and Bradshaw still battling it out. They've got Stenny's actually gained a couple seconds. He's gained a couple seconds on these guys behind us. Starrett in behind runs wide, as does Lynn. And Munro also a little bit wide as well, but he was the least wide of them all. But up the inside goes Flynn. And he gets past Starrett, who runs wide on the exit. He's going to lose 2 in 1 there. Now race 1 winner, just outside the top 10, in 13th place. And he's actually got a shot really if he gets a move on. He might even sneak a top 10. It's Cotter 57 on that last lap, 2 seconds slower than Courtier, and certainly not his normal pace. Stenny with that battling down in 8th, 56 for him, but he had to get past a couple of cars. So he really is a chance. He's only 2-3 seconds off Bradshaw and Ches. And certainly seems to be a bit faster than them. We've got Starrett in the pits. I think he's had a drive through there because there's a very quick through the pit lane. And he's got the car 16 trying to get past. I think that's Louder. So Thornton was trying to make a move on Louder in front, but Starrett sort of balked them all there. And they've got recovering Payne 21st there. And Stenny's looks like he's made a mistake because he is dropped behind Lynn and Munro, who he was ahead of. And he's got Paul right behind him. So perhaps overdriving it, or maybe he actually caught up to those guys in front, who knows. But unfortunately, no replays in AC for us to check out. So it was running in 8th place just a few corners ago. Now finds himself in 10th place. Looks like Payne has had another off. Until it's a dangerous slide across the track as he tries to recover. I think that's down at turn 6. And that's dropping him well down the field. And it looks like Steady's had another off there. So he's down in 14th. The start of this lap is in 8th, so a disastrous lap. It's looking like it could maybe even sneak a top 5 if all things went his way, but he's struggling at the moment. Looks like a big slide Coming out of turn 13 as Duro and Kortum battle it out behind him. Kortum getting the job done. So Kortum now up into 15th. Hasn't been an ideal reverse race for him. Reed, our race 1 winner, in 11th, having a look at the inside of Hall. He's got our championship leader right behind him. Reed, O'Hara and Macca. Our top 3 from last round, albeit in a slightly different order. As Reed makes the move on Hall and into the top 10. Now Hall's got to watch himself here because he's going to have to contend the 2 very fast race cars behind. He's not giving up that position, but he's got 2 cars on his inside. His teammate the first race tried to go around the outside. He's managed to hold on this time. And in fact, that's sort of that has off-put O'Hara a little bit, and that's opened the door for Macca, who couldn't quite hold on. O'Hara will hold on for 12th for now. And that's given Reed a little bit of breathing room, as has Hall. Both Macca and O'Hara much better under braking compared to Hall in front, as Munro gets past Lynn, but Lynn not giving up that position. Further up the road, Ches holding on to P6, Thomas holding on to P5, Gutterson in 4th, Keys in 3rd, Courtier 2nd. As we see Crab, a big angry battle pack further down the field, as we've got Cotter now coming around the penultimate corner. And we'll watch him as he crosses the finish line to take race 2 here at Albert Park. So it's been a fantastic weekend so far for Penrite Erebus Racing, taking race 1 with Reed and race 2 with Cotter in the reverse grid race. Courtier, very good job from him. P2, Keys 3rd place. And right at the death, Bradshaw has stolen P6 from Ches. So Ches must have made a slight mistake in the penultimate or final corner. But that race-long battle ending right at the end there, with Bradshaw stealing P6. Thomas did finish in P5 in the end. Munro 8th, Lynn in 9th place. And then we have our race 1 winner in Reed finishing in 10th place. So that's going to be very, very good for Penrite Erebus in the team's championship. Rusty Hall in 11th place, Macca in 12th, O'Hara 12th, Macca 13th, Kortum 14th, Stenny was running in 8th place. A couple errors on I think it was lap 8, dropped him well down dropped him a few spots down when it was looking like he could steal 7th or 6th place from Bradshaw and Ches there at the end. Duro 16th, Schulz 17th, Thornton in 18th place, Crab 19th, and Lauder rounding out the top 20. And outside the top 20 had Eaton finishing in 21st. French finishing in 22nd. Huon didn't have a very good reverse grid race. Obviously he's got some decent pace in the number 5 ZB Commodore, but that reverse grid race didn't go his way. And compared to most guys around him, pace-wise and championship-wise, he's not had a good reverse grid race there, finishing in 23rd. Ellis finishing in 24th. Ball in 25th. Starrett was running in the top 10 for the majority of that race, but it looks like he picked up too many track cuts and had to serve a drive-through after having a little off there towards the end of that race. Brock not having a good one in that one, finishing in 27th. Keane finishing 28th. Dominiak in 29th. Payne in 30th. Runch 31st. Parker 32nd. Colin Warwick having a shocking start to his championship, finishing down in 33rd. Delaney 34th. Hobson, who we did see that incident which dropped him down the field, in 35th. Richards 36th. Ross, the last of the finishers, in 37th place. Alright, well, what's going to happen now? There will be a short little break as the server will be reset and set up for the obviously next 2 races. There will be a qualifying session just before that, and then 2 13-lap races, with the second being a reverse grid race. So we'll just take a short break for a minute or two. But again, we shall be back. Don't go anywhere. Alright, apologies for the little bit of a longer delay than what I would have hoped, but I had to just grab a bite to eat. Qualifying for race number 3 in the second set of races is underway. Drivers now leaving the pit lane. And once again, Team Castrol Plus Fitness first out of the pit lane. And a steady stream, well, it's more like a river or flood of cars now leaving the pits to begin qualifying. 10 minutes around this circuit only really guarantees you about 5 timed laps, and that's if you stay out for the entire session, which of course you don't want to do, because you're not going to have very fresh tyres at the end of that little stint. So you're probably going to want to go out, do a time lap or two, and then ride it, and then go out once again on another fresh set of tyres, and set a lap right at the end. Well, the 2 races didn't go his way, but he got pole position by a massive margin for race 1 earlier on in the evening. Watkins Scott called him muster this time around. Obviously, I believe it was a 52.0 in qualifying 1, which was 1.1 seconds faster than the next fastest car. So we'll stick with him. So he's got one of the Erebus cars in the background there, as well as his teammate that knocked him off the road at the start of race 1 there. It sort of kicked off his race 1 and 2. That's he'll be hoping, obviously, once again to get pole position, but to get a better getaway from the start for a race 3. Anyway, right on board. We'll follow him around and we'll see how he attacks this Albert Park Grand Prix circuit for a second qualifying session. So one of the Super Jeep cars gets out of the way as he exits the pits. Down a couple gears, using a lot of curb at turn 1. A little bit of a slide as he got on the outside onto the AstroTurf through turn 2. Making very, very late for turn 3. He's able to pull it up, use a little bit of curb. Sticks to the middle of the road, gets to the right hand side. Bit of curve for turn 4, a little bit of slide on the exit. That has cost him a little bit of time. Gets as far as he can to the left, which opens up turn 5. Doesn't lose too much time compared to what we've seen from a number of the other drivers. Brakes about 80 metres at turn 6. Very wide on the exit, but that didn't cost him too much time though. Through this flat right hand sweeper, which is called Louder, coming up to Clark and Fittipaldi. Here's Clark. A little bit of slide on turn in under braking, but saved it. In fact, might have even helped his turn in a little bit of slide on the exit, but again, it wouldn't have cost him too much time or any time at all. Now he goes down a lakeside drive to Wait, which is this one here. Doesn't use all the curve for that one. Just a little kiss, a lot of curve for the second part. Runs it a little bit wide on the exit, which will cost him a little bit of time and a little better kilometre down the straight, perhaps. Now into Ascari. A little bit wide there, couldn't quite get the note. You want to clip the curb there, which he didn't do in the apex. Now for Stewart, uses a lot more curb this time around. Now, probably the most difficult corner on the track, centre, at least in terms of braking anyway. Now the final corner at Prost, and the race to the line. It's looked like a fairly handy lap. It's not going to be his best, a 53.0, and in fact his teammate's gone a little bit faster than him. But I think that the circuit may be a little bit less rubbered up than what it was in the previous session, which had a 1 hour practice, or which had a practice session preceding it. So the track probably not at its fastest, so we will see times get faster and faster as this session goes on. As you can see, just cars just streaming down the pit straight. A number of cars in the pits. But the 2 Nissans at the moment comfortably ahead of everybody else that has set a lap time. Less than half, well, 0.02 of a second between the two of them. Delaney, though, only half a second away. So he crosses the start-finish line in the black and orange Ford Mustang. O'Hara now 10th behind the 2. Boost Mobile Motorsport car. Looks like one of the Techno cars leaving the pit lane as Gutterson sets a lap in the Ford Mustang, one of the monster Ford Mustangs. So we see, believe that is Colin Warwick. Yep, that is Colin Warwick. He's number 53, leaving the pit lane. And now once again, we've got Corsham leaving the final corner. He's got a little bit of traffic in front of him, but that wouldn't have affected him on this lap. But he is going to improve by half a second. His teammate improves as well. Mack improves as well, but not quite enough. So Corsham now in pole position, or provisional pole position. Cotter now beginning his lap, and we've got Munro, the third man, into the 52s. Once again, and Nissan's very, very quick in qualifying trim. Munro will be hoping for a better second set of races here. He's been in good positions early, but has faded as the races have gone on. So his teammate sets a lap, puts him in 16th position. So you see a number of cars going off the road and trying to get out of the way of guys on fast laps here at turn 1 and 2 here. Absolute mess. Well, that's what happens when you got 37 drivers out on the circuit, as O'Hara jumps up to P2 and splits the 2 Castrol plus Fitness St Ultimas of Corsham and Macca. On a 57.6 for O'Hara. And Hall jumping into the top 10 for Walkinshaw and Andretti United now as well. So we'll follow around our race 1 winner, see how he's travelling at the moment. A little bit of space in front of him. As you can see, brake discs glowing at the front there. Is a fairly decent and fairly hefty circuit on brakes. Not quite as heavy as some other circuits, but still the speeds you do achieve here at Albert Park are some of the quickest in the supercar calendar, at least in terms of top speed. Straight out of the final corner, crosses the line, 53.4. He doesn't improve as he locks up into turn 1. He's able to save it, and he's going to go again. So it looks like a lot of guys, in fact I'd say most people in fact, as you see Hyun now move up into 7th. A lot of guys just filling enough fuel up for 10 minutes out there, and then just go out there and just do 5 laps it seems. 4 or 5 time laps. A couple other guys have waited a little bit further into the session to set a lap as Reed gets in all kinds of sideways out of turn 4. Nice run through turn 5 though, a little bit wide on the exit, but it wouldn't have cost him any time. But he's on the grass coming into turn 6. That will have cost him time and speed, and it's made him run a little bit wide. I wonder if he's picked up a track cut. Regardless though, he is pushing on, but he will catch that Bodlow and Rabble Club cars in front of him. We've got O'Hara and Macca in the pit, so they're out of the race for pole position. Reed once again wide on the exit of Fittipaldi there. Turn 10. Now turn 11 and 12. What can he manage? In fact, that Nissan is actually Munro in front of him, but he's actually sort of catching Munro. So Munro probably not going to improve on this lap by the look of it. As Warwick pops in a 1 minute 55.2. And that is Eaton now sneaking into the top 10 right at the end. But we're still not done as Munro enters the pits after making a mistake at the penultimate corner. Reed coming through the final corner now. As is the Bodlow car in front of him. Across the line goes Reed, and he doesn't improve. And then OS Erebus car, Matt Cotter, I believe that's Hyun crossing the start finish line. Is Hyun, and he does improve, so Hyun sneaks into the top 5 with a 53.0. Now I've got Lauder out of the final corner in the second of the Rabble Club cars. Cross the line, moves up a handful of spots on a 55.3, so that midfield is very, very close there, as you can see, with the gaps there. The second of the Bodlow cars, 23 red car, and one of the 888 Red Bull cars cross the line. They go to finish their qualifying session. And now Brock crossing the start-finish line. He improves to move up to 11th spot on a 54.8. And Hyun's done his lap, so his teammate now about to cross the start-finish line. And now one of the Harvey Norman Nissans over the line. There he goes. We've got Delaney out on a lap at the moment. He will be, I believe, the last one to set a time. It's either he didn't make it in time or that lap wasn't good enough to improve. Eaton out of the final corner. He should be, I believe, the last one to set a time here, and he improves up into 8th place. So right at the death, Eaton sneaking into the top 10. So good effort from him, and he'll be one of the first of the Mustangs. Who must be said, the Mustangs haven't had a particularly good round so far, or particularly good start to the season, it has to be said. But now we wait, got 2.5 minutes until we tick over until the race session. So those that are watching in chat, feel free to ask any questions, but don't ask about the championship standings because I cannot do them on the fly on my own. So I'm just winging it at this point. But don't be afraid to ask any questions about the series or the cars or even the circuit. But once again, Kortum starting from pole position. He'll be having for a much, much better start and better second set of 2 races here. So he's started on pole for race 1, but didn't get off the line well. Obviously lost out to Reed off the line, who had a pretty good start, and then his teammate Macca centred up the inside of him at turn 1 on lap 1. A little bit of contact between the two, forced Kortum wide, which dropped him down to 5th or 6th place, I believe, and he had to sort of fight his way back. Stick Death 19.8. Am I single? Well, unfortunately for you guys, I'm not. So that's a shame for you guys, but for my fiance and myself, I guess it's a big plus. Am I streaming the GT? No, I will not be streaming the GT series because I'll be racing in the GT series. As you guys have seen so far, my computer chugs quite a bit with the supercar stream, so I won't be able to stream while I'm driving because set of course is just a little bit too CPU intensive for me to even just stream from the cockpit sort of thing. So unfortunately not. And I'll probably be missing the first round next week as well. I've got a lot of stuff that I've got to complete for some other racing stuff that I'm doing, so I'm going to be a bit busy with that, getting that all sorted, and obviously preparing for round 3 of the supercars in this as well. So we'll be missing round 1 probably, unless I can get that sorted in time. Anyway, session has ticked over. Still got another 2 minutes, but still a bit of time to go. The Z4, yeah. Well, people were saying the Z4 was bad for that GT3 series, but obviously I jumped in it immediately and did about 3 laps and was in the 44s, which was something I couldn't say about the Porsche, which is a hunk of junk. But if I can learn to drive that, I figure I can learn to drive anything. But it's going to be a frustrating, long road in the GT series, which for those that aren't from AK but are tuning in, obviously we run, as you can see here, Supercar Series one Sunday, and then on the alternating Sunday we've got a GT3 series as well, both of them being in Assetto Corsa. So if you are interested, obviously head over to the Facebook page, find out the link, or grab the link to the Discord, jump in, sign up, and have a crack. Alright, well, 45 seconds away. So I might as well just show the cars out there on screen for you. That is the grid, as you can see. In fact, we'll go all the way to the back of the field. Just to demonstrate. Obviously, I've got to go all the way back here. And we'll show just what it looks like for the bloke at the back of the field. So that's all he can see. And it is a long way. Well, to quote AC/DC, it's a long way to the top. That is for sure. Alright, 5 seconds away. The lights are on. We're about to go racing. Can Cortum get a better start? And the answer is not really. And it looks like O'Hara's got the better start, but the best start has gone to Maka. He's going to split the pair of them. And the Rabble Club car also looking up the inside, but into the lead goes O'Hara, but he's ran wide, as has Maka. And I believe that's one of the Rabble cars anyway, but all kinds of change of positions there. O'Hara, a bit of big contact back there. And yeah, big. This is reminiscent of Spa 1998. There's cars everywhere, contact, accidents, big accident. This is obviously a big concern of a lot of the drivers and the admin team with a grid so big. Obviously, we thought Adelaide, with that first chicane and the walls being so close, it would happen there, but we were able to get through that without having such a massive accident. But here, in race 3 at Albert Park, so we've gone 3 races. Also, we've gone the first one at Adelaide. We've gone race 2 of the season at Albert Park, race 3 at Albert Park, and this the 4th race of the season. It has finally happened. The big one. Hashtag the big one. It's just, well, massive accident. Unfortunately for Cortum, he was the one that sort of, I don't know, it looked like he got sort of nudged and got knocked around, and he sort of spun around in front of everybody, and that sort of kicked things off. So he was the, I think it was Hakkinen, I believe, at Spa 98. It's Hakkinen Coulthard, one of the McLarens that sort of kicked it off in Spa 98, and unfortunately for him, he was the one that sort of got turned around in front of an angry pack of 30 plus other cars, and that is why we've got the safety car out for the first time immediately after 2 corners here for the 3rd race and the first of the 13 lap races. So, disaster for Cortum, but for O'Hara, our championship leader, he will be loving that. Obviously, got a decent start. Maka got the best start out of everybody by the looks of it, but sort of got held up a little bit as he tried to split his teammate and O'Hara. And then, pardon me, Munro, a massive dive bomb at turn 1, sort of forced a couple of the cars wide, which enabled him to move up a couple of spots, but did disrupt a number of cars. Stenny, though, he was able to avoid all that contact. He was, I believe, well outside the top 10. He may have even been in the 20s, because I can't exactly remember where he qualified, but Stenny finds himself in 4th place. So he avoided all that, and now in a very handy position in P4. Matt Cotter in P5, Rusty Hall in P6, Eaton in P7, Dominiak in 8th, Brock in 9th, Reed, our race 1 winner and defending champion, in 10th, Delaney down a couple spots in 11th, Warwick up quite a few spots up into 12th, another one that was able to win big out of the incident, just about where he is right now. Keane 13th, followed by Ellis, Duro, Lynn, Gautier, Hobson, Starrett, Thomas, Lauder, Keys, Crab and Ross. And then we've got Payne, Richards in 26th, Ball in 27th, Gutterson in 28th, Thornton in 29th, Bradshaw in 30th, Runch in 31st. Hyun was another one that's a big loser out of that contact, down in 32nd. He did start in the top 10, 30-30s, Ches. Then we've got French, caught him all the way down to 35th. Thankfully for him, there's a safety car where he can work his way up the field. But he is currently last on the road. So he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get anything out of this race. With only being, obviously, a 13-lap race in total. But with the safety car probably coming in either this lap or the next. It's going to take him... Well, he's going to have to give it his all, really, and have a little bit of luck to even get inside the top 20 from where he is off a rolling start. That said, though, O'Hara is letting the safety car, looks like, drive away a little bit, so it looks like we may be going green. In fact, we'll jump on board the safety car. He's locked up here last couple of times we saw him, so we'll just right on board in the penultimate corner. Nice and conservative this time. So, Scrub, safety car driver, a bit of a pussy, not having a crack, but the safety car is in. And O'Hara will get us. So, in fact, O'Hara into the pits. That is one thing I did forget to mention. There is pit stops in these races. So, in fact, I reckon down the back of the field, that is what happened. Obviously, after that incident, that caught him pitted. So, only now is Delaney... Oh, so only now, obviously, sorry, I should say, O'Hara entering the pit lane. No, Cordham didn't pit, so he's having to pit again. Perhaps he had a drive-through, but I was going to say, if he had have pitted, that would have been absolutely perfect and would have probably got him in race-leading position again. But out front, though, Macca leads. Munro has got Stenny all over the back of him on this restart. Cotter keeping a watching eye, just a couple car lengths back. But looks like the big battle at the moment as Duro down the field gets a move done, as does Keys. But Stenny looking to get a wriggle on and get after Macca in the lead. Hasn't had the greatest of qualifying sessions so far, has Stenny, but in the races he looks like he's got a little bit of pace. So Munro a little bit wide there, Clark, and there's going to have to deal down Lakeside Drive with Stenny right behind him. And this is allowing Macca to get away. May have even been a track cut there from Stenny, but Munro's run wide on the exit. And that's going to allow Stenny the inside line into Ascari, and Stenny gets the job done. So it's been a great race so far for Stenberg. Up a lot of spots from where he qualified. Finds himself now in P2 after avoiding a massive incident just after turn 2. Behind these guys, though, looks like Eaton, Dominiak, and Reed, Delaney, Brock all sort of very close together. In fact, Delaney trying to get the move done on Reed. He also might even have a crack at Dominiak as well. Gets the move done on Reed. And now he sets his sights on Dominiak in front. So it looks like Brock keeping a watchful eye as well. Reed's had a good run out of turn 2. He's going to send it up the inside. Delaney very, very late on the brakes. Leaves a little bit of room for Reed in behind. And in fact, Brock and Reed very, very close again. There might have been contact because Reed is off the road there. Just caught a glimpse of it before that took place, and it looked like Brock was trying to make a move, which is a bit adventurous. And unfortunately for Reed, looks like he's cost him a little bit. He's lost out another spot as Duro gets him for 11th place. Up front though, Stenny, once he's gotten past Munro, but doesn't seem to be, well, he can't quite get away. Macca is at the front though, is getting away. .8 seconds between first and second now, but only half a second between second and third. Cotter just falling away, and he's sort of having to, well, he's having to deal now with Hall in the battle for fourth place. We've got Eaton just in front of Dominiak, who's got Delaney right behind him. So this is the next little hot spot as Reed gets the move done as he tries to recover after that contact, or it looked like contact between himself and Brock at turn 4. Back up to 11th place he goes. 52.9 for Macca, so that's the fastest race lap we've had so far, I believe. Delaney has got past Dominiak, but Dominiak is having a little look, just showing his nose a little bit into turn 1. A little bit of slide coming into turn 1 for Delaney, maybe just a little bit of lag, but either way, just a little bit sideways. Brock now having a look around the outside of Dominiak, and he's broke much later and got the job done. So Brock now into 8th place. Very good race so far for the OS Erebus team, as Warwick now finds himself in the top 10 and not too far away from Dominiak in front, with his teammate sitting in second. Now O'Hara, that has pitted, is gone. Well, he has pitted and has gone around, so he's caught up to these guys that and he's dropped behind. Oh, as we see, that is a big incident between one of the Cool Drive cars and one of the Milwaukee cars. That is Ross. Can't tell who the other one is, but what I was trying to sort of figure out in my head was either O'Hara pitting. I thought I saw one of the Nissans, as we see, it was Ball that was caught up in that, because his rear tyres must be absolutely stuffed. That's why he's sliding around everywhere. But yeah, I was trying to work out where O'Hara, with that sort of half spin or contact that he had there, which Nissan was ahead of him down the road. But it mustn't have been, well, there is a Nissan just up the road from him, but I was thinking it was, I thought it was Coulter for a second, but it must have been Crab just down the road. It's Macca, another fastest lap, another 52. That would have been a solid effort in qualifying, 52.7. That would have certainly put him in the top 5. As Brock now into the pit lane. And Warwick chasing down Dominiak for 8th place. And Stenny and Munro duking it out for 2nd place. Now these guys would definitely have been aided by that incident that O'Hara did have, because that's who they would have been racing. Now O'Hara was in the lead. He pitted when the safety car came in. There is a compulsory pit stop. He came in when the safety car came in. But everyone else does have to pit. That half spin might bring these guys into play. I think Macca, barring mistake, has probably got the race in the bag. But where O'Hara ends up now is the big question. I'm trying to think if Huon is pitted as well. Obviously, he did start a little bit further down the field and was caught up in that incident early on. I'm not sure if he's pitted though. There's a little bit of awkwardness as they go through Lauder. Huon trying to desperately get by Ches, and he's going to have to, because he's got O'Hara closing these two down. He will have the inside now for Waite, and he gets that job done. Uses a lot of curve. That may even be a track cut. So around he goes now. Battle for second continues. All the second, third and fourth all in the 54s. Hall 55.2, 54.8 with Delaney. So he's got a little bit of pace now, I think. Eaton in the pit lane. I've got Duro in the pit lane. And one of the Team 18 cars there in the back pitting as well. And we've got a very angry battle pack behind Mr. Richards here. Around. Well, ahead goes Brock. A little bit of a slide. And now he's got to contend with Lynn and Reed. It's Keys, yep, it's Keys leaving the pit lane. So that was the Team 18 driver that was in the pits. As Cortum has a look at Hobson for 21st position. And Reed now getting ahead over Richards for 19th place. Out front though, again Macca just extending his lead massively over Stenny and Munro in second and third. 2 to 3 seconds a lap, or 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap at the moment, just easing away. Warwick doing a good job in 8th place. And we've got Keane in 9th. That car behind him is a lap down, so is a little bit deceiving. Car behind him being Thornton. Super Cheap Auto has Mostert livery. Ooh, a little bit of a mistake there for Keane. It's cost him a little bit of time. It's O'Hara now on past Eaton and Ches and closing in on Huon quite rapidly. And we've got Hall in the pits. O'Hara just under 30, well, about 39 seconds off the lead. So it actually might be quite close to the lead, even with that mistake that O'Hara did have. Also got Dominiak, Hall, also in the pits, as well as Warwick and Thomas Payne entering the pit lane as well. And 54.9 for O'Hara, so actually not too ideal. He needs to be a little bit faster than that at this stage if he wants to take the win. But I think this him pitting early has got him into traffic, which has cost him dearly. So it is a strategy in these shorter races where there is a compulsory stop just to pit early and get the pit stop over and done with. But in this case for O'Hara, it's got him out into traffic. And as you can see, he's going much slower than what he would like. As we see Hall off the road. Now that is for position. Hall has pitted. He just left the pits, I believe. So, and Hall was in around 5th or 6th place just before he pitted. So that's how far back O'Hara has dropped. On this lap alone, he's lost 0.6 of a second to Macca. Looks like we've got an angry little battle pack forming right behind Greg Rock here. It's got Reed, race 1 winner this evening, right behind him. And then second or two down the road, Lynn and Cortum duking it out. Cortum's had an absolute shocker of a night in the races. Been scintillating in qualifying form. But in the races, it's just not gone his way. Obviously, turn 1, race 1, and the bad start that he had costing him, dropping him down a few spots, and then race 2, the reverse grid red couldn't find his way through as Brock very, very aggressive on the defence. He doesn't want to let Reed go. So Reed, the defending champion. And we've got a number of cars in the pits. We've got Stenny, Munro, Cotter, Delaney and Keane all in the pits. Macca going around again. And Stenny and Munro out of the pit, so they are now effectively battling for second and third. So they have comfortably, as well as Cotter and Delaney, they have cleared O'Hara, but O'Hara is right behind Delaney. And Delaney having to go defensive, and didn't have a great run out of turn 2. O'Hara on warmer tyres, so around the outside, and the momentum, and up now into P5, and he's going to try and close down Matt Cotter in P4. So O'Hara still a chance of a podium, only 4 seconds away. But his tyre's going to be a little bit worse off than those cars. Well, a little bit, probably much worse off than the cars in front of him. That said though, this next lap he has to make the most of it, because everybody out there that's pitted, obviously these guys that he's just around now, he is going to have to make the most of it now, because they're all on colder tyres and their tyres aren't up to pressure and temperature. Give it a lap or two, and once they're up to temperature, it's going to be much, much more difficult for him to close down and pass these guys in front. Second and third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Has to be said, Hall and Dominiak doing a fantastic job. Eaton doing a good job. Warwick also doing a good job for Erebus OS, recovering after his poor first couple races. Now sitting in the top 10, Brock and Reed continue to duke it out. I want to stick with these guys for a while unless we see an exchange of positions up on the timing screen. But Brock on the last lap we saw made it very, very difficult for Reed to get by. And once again, not making ease, just pinching a little bit at the penultimate corner, making Reed really work for it. Reed's going to have to go around the outside of the final corner, which you can't really do. But he's right there, right behind Brock. And he's back right on board, Reed. And we'll just see how difficult it is for the defending champion. It looks like Munro's got past Stenny, but... and Stenny's off the road. There may have even been a little bit of contact there. Perhaps, or perhaps just both of them on the absolute limit of braking, and Stenny just running wide off the road. So Munro finally now up into second place, currently in Nissan 1-2. They've been quick all weekend, but some bad luck and some not so good driving has dropped them down the field throughout the races. But Macca comfortably in the lead. He should take this one comfortably. But Stenny not letting Munro go at this stage, and they've got Cotter and O'Hara closing them down, and Delaney not far away as well. So we've got a nice little battle pack that is just starting to, well, two little battle packs, but looks like it might form a nice mega battle pack in the last lap or two here. Looking further back though, Brock still ahead of Reed. They've got Cortum for company, and Brock forcing sort of Reed to have a go on the grass. He's not really going to get the job done there. He's having another look up the inside at Late. You're not going to do that there. Reed getting very, very impatient. Cortum's now right behind him. He's got a much better run. And we might even go three wide here. Is Brock very, very defensive. Chops the nose off of Reed coming into turn 13, and that's going to allow Cortum to try and go around the outside there at Ascari, and he's got his nose in front just, but Reed will hold on for now. Cortum though has got the inside for the penultimate corner. He sends it up the inside and gets the job done. Well, for now anyway. Reed hasn't given it up. Cortum now on the outside, and he's going to lose out to Lynn in behind. So fantastic racing for these guys. That's allowing Brock just to ease away at the moment. And these guys are battling for sheep stations for a grand position of 12. With 2 laps to go here. And a big, big slide out coming out of turn 2 for Cortum. Shades of Yano Truly 2002 there. He ended up in the wall on the left-hand side on the exit there. And Duro getting past Eaton there. So these guys battling it out. They've got Warwick just in front. A bit of a slide there for Duro there. Further back. Reed once again closing in on Brock for P12. If these guys weren't battling as hard, they'd probably close in on Eaton and Duro in front. But no, I don't want to do that. Brock doesn't want to do that because I think he knows that if he lets Reed go, he's not going to catch him again. So with a couple laps to go, he ain't letting anybody go. But it has to be, Reed has to be patient, but at the same time urgent. He's set Brock up nicely there, but he just waited a little bit to get on the power coming out of weight. Brock will go defensive. It's a little bit of a CPU occupancy and a little bit of lag as well, sort of making things look a little bit awkward. Brock up, just staying to the inside, forcing Reed to stay on the outside, just balking him a little bit. That has allowed Cortum right back onto the back of these guys. Reed's just going to the inside. I think that was more a defensive measure than an attacking one. but he's still a bit quicker through the penultimate corner than Brock. Takes a more shallower line than Cortum behind, but Cortum couldn't quite get the nose in. So it doesn't look like Cortum's going to be able to get the move done, and he's going to have to look in his mirror with Reed right behind, or sorry, not Reed, with Lynn right behind him in the 33 Boost Mobile Motorsport car. It is all happening for P12 at the moment. In fact, on that last lap, Brock did, in fact, close a little bit on Eaton in front. But not enough to really actually give him a chance of getting a move done. As it looks, he's just going defensive everywhere, is Brock. So it's just holding up this entire crew. So I reckon we will see a bit of fireworks in the next lap and a half in this little pack here. Looking at the timing on the left hand side there, see Munro well behind Macca, who's dominated this one. But he's pulled out a couple seconds over Stenny. Stenny's done a good job, he's stabilised, and he's a couple seconds in front of Cotter. Now O'Hara was actually in front of Delaney, but Delaney's now got himself in front of him. And Cotter, looks like those guys all just duking it out. In fact, we'll cut to them right now. And this big slide for O'Hara out the final corner there. I thought he was going to go round, but able to hold on to it. That's allowed Cotter and Delaney to get away. And a lock up for Stenny, the turn one there. So Stenny pushing hard here on the final lap. Now we did see Stenny, believe it was in race 2. No, in fact, I think it was one of the first two races. Sorry, one of the first two races where he was running in the top 10, closing in. I think it was on 7th place at the time, and towards the end of the race he faded, had a couple little offs and had a little mistakes which dropped him down the field, and slides like that indicates he's probably not entirely comfortable with the car as the tyres wear out a little bit and on low fuel. So it's allowed Cotter and Delaney just to close in a little bit, but Cotter, I think, just a little bit more occupied with the Ford Mustang right behind. But just cut to race lead. Still a couple corners to go over him. And so Lynn's dropped a couple spots down the field there. But our race leader coming out of the penultimate corner, going through the final corner. Macca will take race 3 here at Albert Park. Absolutely dominated this one, and making up for that contact that he had with his teammate in race 1. And we've got Warwick slowing down. Either he's got damage or he's ran out of fuel. He's out of fuel. He is out, or perhaps I think he's out of fuel. Munro, fantastic second place for him. Stenny, good result for OS Erebus. Cotter will hold on to 4th. Delaney 5th. O'Hara 6th in the end. He'll be disappointed with his strategy in the end. Hall in 7th. Dominiak 8th. Good drive from him. Duro, a bit of a mistake out of the final corner, but he will hold on for 9th place in the end. Eaton, the final spot in the top 10. Brock, able to hold on to 11th place. Very, very aggressive defence of over and defending champion Reed, who finishes in 12th. Cortum eventually finishing in 13th. Obviously, he's involved in that massive pile-up out of turn 3. And then Keane, 14th. Keys, 15th. Hewen, 16th. Lauder, 17th. Lynn, 18th. Courtier, 19th. Bradshaw, 20th. Guttison, 21st. Ellis, 22nd. Hobson, 23rd. Runch in 24th. Payne, 25th. Payne in 25th. And then we had Ches in 26th. Thomas in 27th. French in 28th. Warwick still hasn't crossed the start-finish line. He's still not crossed the start-finish line, so he must be out of fuel, but he's he's just crossed it there. So a disaster for obviously Warwick and OS Erebus, because he was in line for a 10th place and a top 10, but running out of fuel on the last lap, costing him dearly, and he will finish in 31st. Ross will finish in 32nd. Thornton in 33rd. Crab 34th, and Starrett the last of the finishers. Alright, well, once again, there will be just a short break. There's a reverse grid, the final race of the night, race 4, and race 5 of the season, race 4 of the night here at Albert Park, and again, reverse grid race. Pretty sure there is a compulsory stop in this one as well, or at least I'm pretty sure there's a compulsory stop in this 13th lap race as well, but it is reverse grid, so we'll see definitely some more action. But we'll just take once again another short break as I grab a drink and a little bite to eat, but we shall be back for race 4 and the final race of the evening. Don't go anywhere. Okay, and welcome back for the final race of round 2 here at Albert Park. Race 4, it's the second set of races, the second set being 13 laps, and the second race of each set being reverse grid. So, just to run through the reverse grid, at least the top 20 anyway. We've got Crab starting from pole position here. The final race of the evening with Thornton joining him on the front row. Ross third. Warwick, after running out of fuel right at the end there, will start in 4th place. So he's one to look out for if he can get a good start. Ball 5th. Richard 6th. French 7th. Thomas in 8th. Ches 9th. Payne 10th. Followed by Runch, Hobson, Ellis, Gutterson, Bradshaw, Courtier, Lynn, Lauder, and Keys, the top 20. Anyway, the lights are on and we are about to go racing. And away we go. Once again, the 23 red cart going absolutely nowhere, but a solid start for our pole setter, Crab, as they race towards turn 1. And hopefully they all get through. But as you can see, so many cars need to force their way through. But Crab, clear lead over Warwick, who's had a decent start. So he's one to look out for, Warwick. He could get a good result here. And the field are racing now towards turn number 3. As you can see, it's sort of bumper cars as everybody tries to sort their way through turns 3 and 4 here. And with the faster guys trying to make their way through, and they've got one of the Red Bull cars off, that's Runch off in the background there. So disaster for him, and a little bit of contact between one of the Machinery House Petronas cars and one of the Rabble Club cars in the back there. Warwick has actually lost out, and there's a big accident. Warwick's been speared into the wall, so perhaps contact or something's happened there. And he's spun around, so his race ruined already. Disaster. He was looking good after the start, but all the way down now into 17th place, and will probably drop another spot. He's got Corson right behind him as well, and he'll have a little bit of damage to sort out at the pit stop as well. French has dropped down a number of spots. Yep, French off the road at weight, and I think that's one of the other Erebus cars as well. I wonder if that's Warwick again. I think yes, it is Warwick again. So disaster for Warwick as Thomas finds himself now in 3rd place. A very angry battle pack behind him. Thornton is a good 6 seconds in front of him, and Crab is gone. So this front crew looking in very, very good shape. And Warwick, in fact, out of the race. So disastrous final race. Really final sort of combined 2 laps for him. The end of the last lap, the final race not going well. Him running out of fuel. And him in this one getting a solid start and then getting wiped out there. But anyway, as you can see, the field are racing towards turn 1. One of the WAU cars, that's Brock there having a look up the inside, and that's contact between, I think that was Lynn and Gutterson. Gutterson now trying to recover. That's going to dump him down a lot of spots in the Monster Energy Ford Mustang. Behind him, he's got Matt Cotter, James Delaney, a teammate of his, and as well as Macca, and I think that's Hall as well. We've got Lauder, it's got past Richards. Up into 9th place. Oh, and a big contact again. And even further contact further back down the field as well. So it's all happening at the moment. There's a Red Bull car involved. There's one of the Scandia Mustangs. And so it is all happening. Now, I wonder if a safety car has been called, because it looks like some cars are going slowly, others are going at full speed, but we will find out. As Crab entering the pits early. Obviously, he's got a big lead, but he had lost out quite a bit of time to Thornton in behind. The gap was about 7 seconds. Thornton also entering the pit lane as well. But they had a massive gap over Thomas. And it looks like the safety car is out, so pitting now is the right thing to do. Crab and Thornton giving themselves every opportunity to, well, they will jump back into the lead as Crab gets going. So Crab and Thornton will be first and second once the pit stops do sort themselves out. Thomas in the lead at the moment though. Right, so all these guys have to pit, so if you're not pitting at the moment, you're going to find yourself at the end of in a couple laps time, in a lot of trouble. So yeah, as you can see, number of drivers in and out of the pit lane. I'd hate to be a mechanic out there in the pits with so many cars in and out. And out of all that, Crab and Thornton find themselves in 4th and 5th place on the road. Problem for them though is that they did have a big gap over the rest of the field, which is now going to be once again closed right up. So they got the pit stop out of the way, so it's going to be a straight race for 9 or 10 laps, unless there's another safety car, which going by this evening is a very high chance. But Crab and Thornton have given themselves every opportunity to pick themselves up a fantastic result here in the final race of the evening, and it certainly will be a different winner. These guys haven't really been towards the pointy end of the field in any of the races so far, but nice start, clean getaway, kept out of trouble, and they've also now pitted at the right time. And obviously the fastest guy that they're going to have to worry about is only 14th in Cortum. Obviously our pole sitter for both the races, but he's had disastrous races throughout, which has denied him any chance of a decent result. I don't even think he's had a top. No, he has had a top 10. I believe he had one in the first race, but every other race he's been well down the field. And we've got Gutterson out, so Gutterson back to the pits. Don't know what has happened there. See, we did see Gutterson involved in a bit of contact at turn 1, I believe. There was, I think, Brock and another car involved in that incident on the first or end of the start of the second lap, I believe. Safety car going around once again, and those guys in front not pitting, which is odd because if you're going to pit, you're going to want to do it now. You're going to go to the back of the field anyway, but if you wait any longer, or if you wait when it goes green, you're just going to lose more time and you're not going to get it back up. Richard's in the pits, so he's realised I better pit now. But Thomas, Ball and Payne, our top 3, and none of these guys have pitted. Crab and Thornton and pretty much everyone behind them have all done their compulsory pit stop. As Newton gets past Starrett, for whatever reason, under the safety car, and Courtier's dropped down a spot as well, so I don't know what's happened there. But a couple changes of position under the safety car. Once again, Thomas has led a couple times under the safety car conditions, and each time he's not warmed his tyres. So once again, tyre temperatures and tyre pressures will be quite low. Then again, we might see him enter the pits at the end of this lap as well, because he hasn't done his compulsory pit stop. The man, in fact, yeah, Cortum's actually moved up to 13th. He was in 14th, so maybe he moved up when it was Gutterson retired a couple of laps ago. Perhaps Gutterson was in front of him, but Cortum was in 14th just a couple of laps ago under the safety car, so I don't know what's happened there. But he's going to be the man to look out for. Obviously, quickest man around the circuit, but he hasn't been the greatest when been racing other cars. The safety car now starting to drive away about to go green. So Thomas holding up the field. Sort of forming the pack up as we see Cortum off the circuit in the background there. The safety car is in. As we look back from our race leader. And Ball, he is trying to play a little game with Thomas there. Thomas there, once he saw Ball slowing down, hit the gas, and he's had a fantastic restart and given himself a nice little gap. Coming into turn one, as we see, I think that's Courtier warming his tyres up in the background there, as we see the cars just stream by into turn one. On the Bodlow cars having a look up the inside of one of the Matt Stone cars. It's a bit of contact between Stenny and Ches into turn one. Didn't look like it cost him too much time. Stenny's going to have to get a move on because he's got our race 3 winner, Macca, just a couple spots behind him, and Delaney also very, very quick. And Ches trying to go hold on around the outside of Delaney. We'll have the inside for turn 4, but not quite far enough to hold on to that position. Stenny going to try and go around the outside of Ross at turn 5, and that's made it awkward for him. That's going to open the door for Delaney to get past both of them here. And Delaney gets the job done. But he's outbroke himself. That allows Ross to go by, and I think that's a car off. Yep, that's a boost car. That is Lynn. So Lynn's gone around at turn number 6, and he was well up the field, and that is disaster for Boost Mobile Motorsport there. And for his race, as we cut back to Ross, Stenny and Delaney, this absolute mess down there into turn 8. Now, we've got Macca right behind that they're going to have to deal with. Ross has dropped well down after that contact. He's already off the road and tried to get back onto the road, but there was a ZB Commodore in his way. A massive battle here for 17th. About 3 seconds down the road is Bradshaw. Up at the front though, Thomas in the lead. He has to pit Ball in second. He's got to pit Crab. Third place does not have to pit. It's vital for Crab that he gets a jiggle on, because Cortum is only 6 seconds down the road and is a couple seconds a lap faster. So he is going to have to get by these guys. Obviously the two in front of him have to pit, but he has to get by them obviously before they pit, really, if he's going to make any headway and give himself the best opportunity to grab a win. See the final race, if you haven't missed it, obviously there's been 2 sets of races, so 4 races this evening, with the second race in each being reverse grid, as Thornton and Payne duking it out, and Thornton now getting past Payne in the other Harvey Norman Nissan Altima, and Hyun trying to get by as well. Hyun's quite quick as well. I'm trying to think if he's pitted or not. I'm not sure if he has, but he's also another one that Crab will have to look out for. It's Crab now looking to go around the outside. Looks like a little bit of, well, he's got a definite overlap now. He's going to try and go around the outside of turn 8, or turn 9 and 10, and he's done it. So great move from Crab. He needed to get it done, and he's got the job done. Now he's got to set his sights on Aaron Thomas down the road. But at least for now, he's going to have it. Well, he's going to have to drag all the way down Lakeside Drive and into Waite. He's got the inside, and he don't stuff up the next one, otherwise you'll open the door again. He's got it right, and now now Ball is going to have to deal with Thornton, who's right behind him, and Duro and Hyun as well. Hyun moving to the inside. And off goes Ball and Crab. I don't know what happened there. Perhaps a bit of contact. But disaster. Absolute disaster for Crab there. Off the road. He would have been in the effective race lead. And now it's all fallen apart for him. He's dropped well down the field. So Thornton is the effective race leader. Payne in third place. Has to pit. Hyun, I'm not sure about. Courtier, I don't believe has to pit. So here's another one to look out for the win. But he's got Cortum up the inside. And he gets the job done, at least for now. He runs wide, as does Courtier, and Reed not far away. So the fast guys are now coming, and Thornton has to get a move on and hope that Cortum, Reed, and Courtier behind, as well as Hyun, all duke it out and cost each other time because they're not too far away and they don't have to pit either, unlike Thomas out in front. He's doing all kinds of sideways. Bit of a tank slapper out of turn 4. So he's pushing hard, trying to close down. Thornton in second. Payne doing all he can to hold on to P4. He's got Cortum right behind him. And Cortum having a look up the inside. Late on the brakes. Very late on the brakes. Off into the gravel. And he's pushing hard on the grass to not lose too much time. And that's dropped him a couple of spots. Reed now having a look up the inside. Because I think Payne was just thrown off just a little bit there into turn 9. So he's held on. Reed's ran a little bit wide. Now it's Cortier's chance to get by. He was behind both Cortum and Reed, and now he's in front of both of them. So you watch the two in front of him make mistakes, and he gets past Payne clearly, and in 4th place and giving himself the best chance of closing Thornton down. Thornton now has closed the gap to Thomas in 1st. Thomas does have to pit. Thornton doesn't. Importantly for Thornton, he's got 6 seconds over Courtier. 54s, if he can maintain 54s throughout this race, he'll give himself every opportunity. But I think he'll probably have to nip a 53 in here or there once he gets into the lead, Will Thornton. But he has to get past Thomas cleanly and without losing too much time. This looks like a number of drives in the pits. So Keys and Starrett in the pits. Hume not too far away as well. Again, I'm not sure if he's pitted or not. I'm going to have to hazard a guess that he has, because it looked like only the sort of the top 4 or 5 at the time under the safety car didn't pit. So effectively, Thornton really does have to get by Thomas, because if he stays behind Thomas for too long, it's just costing him too much time. Hume's going to have every opportunity to get by Thornton. So he's got to make the move, but he's got to do it clearly. Hume has a look up the inside into 8, but massive lock up under braking. It's an ambitious move. They've already lost a second to Courtier behind on this lap alone. We're only halfway through it. So Thomas losing costing Thornton and Hume a bucket load of time at the moment. We'll stick with this pack for now because it is the most important one on the circuit. Thornton's had a good run out of weight. He's going to have to go the long way around the outside at Ascari. Can't quite get it done, and allows Hume to close in even further. In fact, he had to get out of it there. Stewart. And now, penultimate corner centre in the background. Courtier and Reed very, very close together. And very, very late in the pits for Thomas. So he's finally decided to pit. He's going to go well down the field. Thornton now into the lead, but he's going to have to deal with Hume. Thornton would have wanted that to happen a lap earlier where there's a little bit of a gap between himself and Hume. But no dice. And 54s for Courtier and Reed on that last one. So if Thornton can get back to hitting those 54s, he'll give himself a very, very good opportunity of taking a win as one of the supercar, sorry, not supercar, the super cheap car that at exit the pits has gone around the exit of pit lane as Cortum gets past Payne for P5. Obviously, Cortum probably out of everybody in the top out of Reed, Courtier, and obviously himself, I think he's probably more of a chance, even though he's further behind, to win the race, simply because he's got much more car speed. He can hit 53s, and if he puts it all together in race trim, he can hit 52s. But time is running out. He's going to need those, obviously, Reed and Courtier to battle a little bit and make a mistake. And then he's going to have to hope that Hume and Thornton obviously battle and lose time as well. But he's going to have to hit some very, very quick lap times if he wants to nip a win here. But Thornton doing a very, very good job at the moment, holding on. Hume also doing a good job sticking around. Not much between these two. Now, there's no other reverse grid races throughout the year, so these guys, well, Hyun, as we've seen in Adelaide, does have a bit of pace, but he's not quite of the elite tier, at least from what we've seen so far. Thornton hasn't been really anywhere near the paces. He's outbrakes himself a little bit at the penultimate corner. It's going to allow Hyun to close in a little bit, but he hasn't had an ideal run either. And the gap between, obviously, first and second and third and fourth is 4.1 seconds out of the final turn, but both in the mid-54s, 54.4 for both, and 54.7 as a big dive from Hyun into turn one gets the job done. So catching everybody by surprise there. Very late and confident on the race. So Hyun into the lead. And Thornton, what can he do? Can he steal the lead back? Obviously, he's got a bit of slipstream. Hyun very wide there on the grass. He's lucky it's a sim, because if that was real life, he'd probably be going around there having his outside tyres on the grass like that. It's only 3.3 seconds between second and third now, so very, very close. Hyun hasn't had an ideal first sector, even though he's now into the lead. Thornton is sticking around. And it looks like Courtier's has dropped off the back of Reed a little bit on that last lap. He's not right behind him. Courtney isn't exactly gaining quickly either, so his race pace doesn't quite equate to his qualifying pace, which has been elite, it has to be said. As it looks like O'Hara now past Stenny for 9th place. But we'll jump back and have a look and see what's going on. Ooh, very angry battle pack here. Headed by Eaton in the Shell V-Power DJR Team Penske Ford Mustang. He's got Bradshaw behind him in the Botlow car, and then Crabb in 14th. Crabb will be devastated because he was in the effective race lead, but ran wide at the corner about to come up at Ascari. Not this little kink here, but the one after. He got himself into the effective race lead at the time, but we didn't quite see it on camera, but we just caught the edge of it where he was off the road. We don't know if there was any contact between himself and the guy that he passed, but devastating for Crabb because he was a very real opportunity of being in that lead battle at the moment. There's Eaton. Oh, around goes louder, and that's going to cost him a lot of spots. Eaton up a spot. Payne now into the pits. Eaton holding on a final spot in the top 10 now. If he makes a slight mistake, he will lose a good 4 positions in a blink of an eye. He's had a good run out of turn 2 though. He's actually just eked away a little bit from Bradshaw. He's had a little bit of a lock up into turn 3. He's got Crabb right behind him, and Crabb's got Hall right behind him, and they've got Macca closing them all down. So you see Lynn, the side there, getting past Payne, left hand side there. See Payne just exiting the pit lane. Yeah, it looks like Eaton now edging away behind them. It looks like Hall now under pressure from Macca. Macca going to try and go around the outside at turn 8. Not going to do it there, but he's got a good run out of turn 9 and a Fittipaldi. Now it's going to be dragged down a lakeside drive to Wait. Not really an passing place on the circuit. You really just want to set it up, get a good exit out of here, which Macca hasn't done. In fact, he always ended up in the wall on the right hand side, just like Timo Glock did back in 2008, but he was able to hold on to it. So Eaton's just stretched away a little bit, and Bradshaw now coming under pressure as you see Hyun, fastest lap of the race when he needed to. So he thought in the 54s, low 54s, but not able to drop into the 53. Still impressive drive from Thornton. Hasn't really had the greatest start to the season, hasn't had the greatest night so far, but this result has to be said. He's driven well in this race, this reverse grid race. He's had decent pace, it has to be said, especially as Reed behind has won a race. Last season's champion, Cortum, again, he's been on pole position in both the races this evening and has shown some great speed in clear air. And Courtier's actually made a mistake and dropped well. Well, he's dropped behind Court at the starter, so that's something we've not picked up. But I thought, great drive so far. And he is just in that range where if Hyun in front of him gets held up from lap traffic, that he could steal a position and steal that lead back with a lap to go. As Macca's got himself in front of Hall. Hall's got Crab right behind him. Crab will be, he'll be quite frustrated after, again, in the effective lead of the race. And then being off the road there, down there at turn 13. Now we've got Brock and O'Hara duking it out though, 7th and 8th. Now, Brock didn't make it very easy in the last race to get by, and from what we've seen so far at AK Racing, he's probably the most difficult man to pass. And again, he's going to force O'Hara to go around the outside at turn 13. He'll have and O'Hara can't quite get that job done. Stenny not too far away either. O'Hara probably going to try and send it up the inside at the penultimate corner. Not quite close enough though, and has to settle for trying to get a good run out of the penultimate corner, which he has done. But Brock just sort of moves over him a little bit, so it just compromises him a little bit. But O'Hara is close enough for a move into turn 1. So you're right on board. The Boost Mobile Motorsport driver up the inside. Brock trying to get him on the switchback, but O'Hara gets the job done. We're on the final lap now. And Brock again trying to get that position back. He's outbroke himself and locked up into turn 3. It's lucky AC doesn't really have flat spots, because he'd probably have a massive one for the remainder of this final lap. But he's going to have to contend with Kurt Stenberg in behind. Stenberg he's run wide onto the grass in the exit of turn 5. He's done an Alex Zanardi, and that's a big incident. He's going to lose out to Eaton and Bradshaw, and probably Macca as well, as Macca's just squeezed himself in front of Bradshaw, and he somehow pulled it up for turn 5. So how that didn't end up being a separate accident on its own, I'll never know. But Macca's pulled it up, but he's going to have to contend with Bradshaw. He's going to try and get that move done, and Stenny's going to have to deal with Hall in behind him. But in any case, they've cut to Hyun. He's run a little bit wide there at turn 13. The gap between the front three, it's not going to be too much in the end. 3 seconds, or just under now 3 seconds separating them. But Hyun will take his first win. And a big slide out of the penultimate corner. He's able to get the job done a few laps ago. And he's just eased away from Thornton in the end. But Hyun takes a race 4 in the reverse grid race. Thornton, a fantastic result for him in P2. Reed does what he has to do for his championship aspirations to go back-to-back. Will finish in 3rd. Kortum will take 4th in the end. Courtier will take 5th. Then we have Delaney in 7th. Delaney in 6th. O'Hara 7th. Brock in 8th place. And then we have Eaton, Macca, Bradshaw, the Bodlow car, Hall, 2nd of the WAU cars, Stenny finishing in 13th, Thomas 14th, Duro 15th, Cotter crosses the line in 16th, Keane 17th, and then we've got Lynn, Lauder and Payne separated by a cigarette paper. Ellis will finish in 21st, Runth 22nd, Keys 23rd, Ball 24th. Then Hobson or Matt Stone Racing 25th. Crab, well, what could have been, he'll be thinking. As he crosses the line in 26th place. He'll be shattered after being in such a good position. Getting the strategy right, doing what he needed to do, and then off the road at Ascari, costing him massively. Ooh, there's a bit of an incident there, as once again the Milwaukee car out of the final corner into the barrier, and around he goes for a nice little drift. It looks like he's actually going to finish in reverse. He's done this a couple of times in a number of series, so nice dramatic finish for him. And then the 2nd of the Machinery House Petronas sponsored cars over the finish line. Well, it's been an action-packed 4 races. has to be said. And I've had a different winner in each race. So I've had 5 races throughout the season, and I believe I've had 5 different winners throughout. So good start to the season. Some great racing, some ordinary driving, a bit of bad luck with some big pile-ups and people having nowhere to go. But Hyun taking race 4. Thornton, fantastic job to finish in 2nd. Reed in 3rd. Corden 4th. Courtier 5th. Delaney 6th. O'Hara 7th. Brock in 8th. Eaton 9th. And Macca rounding out the top 10 in race 4. Well, I certainly need a break after that one. But again, great racing throughout. Fantastic job to finish in 2nd. Reed in 3rd. Corden 4th. Courtier 5th. Delaney 6th. O'Hara 7th. Brock. All right. All right. Well, just to go over, obviously, what is coming up at AK Racing, at least in the Supercar Championship anyway. Obviously, we've just finished round 2 here at Albert Park, the International Super Sprint format, with a different winner in each race, which is good to see. And then in 2 weeks' time, February 2nd, you'll see me and the boys, and hopefully we'll have Rhodey along for that one as well. All right, well, and yeah, in a couple of weeks' time, you'll see the boys tackle the Simmons Plains circuit, where who knows what will happen. There is talk that numbers may be obviously made a little bit smaller. As if we had 37, 38 cars around Simmons Plains, it'd be a bit crazy. But we'll see how that one works out. Either way, packed field around Simmons Plains. That's going to be mighty, mighty tough around there. Anyway, from myself, Lewis Wedding, and obviously the boys down there from AK Racing, we do hope you've enjoyed the racing, and we hope to see you in 2 weeks' time from Simmons Plains. Have a good one.